Hello everyone, I'm Trey Rich and you are watching The Buzz. On today's show, we are counting down the scariest songs and music videos for Halloween. Then we talk to Dylan Ratzlaff, who stars in the Lifetime movie Amish Sin. Then we have Ari Hicks in our artist spotlight. And finally, we have Ben in our studio. It's Halloween Eve, so pull up a chair. In less than 24 hours, you're in for a scare.
I'm James Charles, and you've just been buzzed.
Up first, we have Dylan Ratzlaff, who stars in the Lifetime movie and Amish Sin, inspired by true stories. Amish Sin follows Rachel, an Amish teen who refuses to obey her parents' command that she marry the man who abused her as a child. Let's take a look.
Hi, my name is Dylan Ratzlaff. I'm 21 and I'm an actor and a dancer.
Mom, are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine.
Do you need water or something?
Yes, some water.
Okay.
I'm just tired.
Ma'am, I don't think you look like you're doing okay.
I'm fine. Like, kind of.
Okay. Here.
Now you're taking care of me. It's funny. I'm feeling better. My mother used to get these. She would have to sit down and everybody would take care of her.
So basically what happens, it's about this tight-knit community, and Rachel, she sees some things that happened in her community that she doesn't agree with, and so she actually deals with abuse within her family, sexual abuse, and this causes her to run away. And she actually gets caught running away and gets sent to what is kind of like a correctional center, and it's where they try to pretty much crush their spirit and say, you're submissive to your husband, this is your role in society. And she's just so lost at this moment, doesn't know what to do, and finds the courage to run away and go into the real world, and from there kind of has to figure out what she's doing and who she is. So really funny that my background's actually Mennonite, which is somewhat similar to Amish. So I know it's crazy, but I always tell people Mennonites aren't allowed to dance, and I dance. So like that's my background. I don't actually I'm not a part of like a Mennonite community, if that makes sense. But I actually got to call up like my Grammy and some other people and kind of ask about that, because they are pretty similar, which is kind of crazy, right? We dove pretty much right in. We had like an Amish mentor kind of that we communicated with to make sure every like Amish detail was correct, down to like whether the string should be tied on our cap and not. So like right away in the movie, you'll see everything is seamless with what happens in the Amish community. And a big thing that we talked about, especially with our Amish mentor, was color. They aren't really allowed to wear bright colors, which like, it was so funny because it was kind of like a Wizard of Oz moment, right? It's like black and white to color. And that's what this girl, like kind of, we talked to her, like, this is your life is like the Wizard of Oz. Like everything just shifted for you. And it's like, just down to color or even loud noises, everything there is so plain. There's like nothing too crazy. And then you go in the city and it's just bustling and there's sirens and all these colors. It's just very overstimulating for someone who has never experienced that. I think I was talking with my mom and I was like, this is just the perfect role for me. Now I'm a bit more like outgoing than Rachel. I would say like I'm never really shy from the get-go, but I kind of paralleled it with my experience to this being my first lead role in a sense. And I was pretty nervous and shy, and then as time went on, I just felt more comfortable and could command the set a little bit more. And so within like Rachel finding herself, I found myself on set and like again was saying that like I can do this as like a career. And so it was like building Rachel also built me in my confidence.
I'm sorry. Thank you for coming today.
It's okay. I wanted to come. God's gonna look after you no matter what you do, Rachel. I believe that.
I want to believe that.
You know, I don't think I've ever had the chance to say this, but I admire you, Rachel. I really do.
Yeah, I think with this, it's not just about the Amish community. It's about anyone who's ever felt stuck in a situation where they felt suppressed in their identity or anything like that. And for them to have the courage to step away from that and truly take the time to find themselves and what they need to do. Because I feel like often people find themselves in situations where they truly can't express themselves, or they feel like they just have to be so submissive to whatever that person is doing to them. And I think it's just across the board, everyone's probably experienced something like this. And so I just hope that they follow in Rachel's steps and find the courage to step away from that situation. There was no technology, and even like when we did night scenes, they had to fully be filmed at night because all you have is like lamps and you have like what would be the moon. So like we were shooting usually till 3-4 a.m. because we had to have night, like we couldn't do day for night. And so yeah, it almost felt like going back in time in a sense. And you're like, it's weird because for them this is like present and like now, but for me I'm like, this is going back in time. Like you just see the old sewing machines and the way they cook, and I was like, it kind of gave me like an appreciation for them in a sense, for all the hard work they have to do like in order to live that way. But yeah, I felt like I really had to, felt so separate. So like when I would go home, I'm like, everything's so technologically advanced, like it's kind of crazy. And then I'd go on set and it's like just completely going back in time. You need to watch Amish Sin because I think everyone needs a reality check on what is going on in this world. Sexual abuse is so prevalent right now, and it's way more common than you think. I think it needs to be brought to light, and I want you to know that if you're in a situation that you are not happy with, that you do have the courage to get out of it. And so I think watching Rachel's story, you will be inspired by that. Hi, my name is Dylan Ratzlaff, and you've just been buzzed.
And Amish Sin is on Lifetime right now, so don't forget to check it out. Up next, we have group Ben and Ben all the way from the Philippines in our studio, so don't go anywhere.
You sang the other day. It's been a long time since your eyes lit up that way. I felt the guilt build up as I looked back how things went wrong. Did I have to?
Ben and Ben is a 9-piece ensemble featuring twins Paolo and Miguel. They fuse modern contemporary with classic cultural vibes. Danny has them up next to give us all the details.
Hey, I'm Danielle DeLate for The Buzz, sitting here with Ben and Ben. How are you guys? Welcome to Los Angeles.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is it our first time as a band, right?
Yes,
first time.
First time. Wow, and first time in the States as well?
Yes, the tour. It's our first tour as a band. So.
Wow. And how's the tour going so far?
It's been really great. It's been fun. We've been through like a lot of experiences. Aside from here, we also did Canada. Mm-hmm. So we had like a total of how many shows? 10 or 11 shows. Yeah.
Wow. And how, when you look out at your shows, what does your fan base look like?
Our fan base, well, last night there was an old couple in front of us, so I think it's very wide in terms of age range, and yeah, pretty much. Yeah, but then you see like a lot of young kids. Mm-hmm. Well, of course, a lot of them are fellow Filipinos who most of them actually have never been home or have not been home in a while. Mm-hmm. And then what also surprised us, aside from sometimes like old couples, would be non-Filipinos as well, mm-hmm. who come to the shows.
Maybe singing like our Filipino songs.
Yeah.
But they're not Filipinos.
Yeah.
But they know everything by heart.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
Really surprising.
Yeah, and sometimes we'd receive like they give us these little letters where it's in Tagalog, it's in Filipino, mm-hmm. and then you know they really tried to communicate to us using Filipino. It was, we really appreciate it.
So sweet. It was so sweet.
That's beautiful. It does show that music really is a universal language.
Definitely.
And we were talking about your style or your genre, how you would kind of describe your music before you arrived. And it's interesting because we were like, well, it's like folk, indie, kind of this like traditional style, but also very modernized and young and funky. So it's like a hybrid. How would you describe your sound?
Exactly that.
Oh, yes, we got it.
Actually, let's copy that.
Yeah. No, I love that, and that just shows with the tour how you were saying you have the older couple and then you have young, and it's just like a whole mix hybrid. Yeah.
Yes.
Now, the Ones We Once Loved, your new single. What is the writing process like on that? Because there are 9 of you. So in the studio, do you all go in? How does that work?
Well, usually your process is we just go with the flow in terms of jamming the song. But for the Ones We Once Loved, for that single, we tried something different because the song called for something more, I would say, bare bones.
Mhm.
So we were really particular with what to put in terms of the arrangement. But the sounds that you hear there, they are what represents us as a band. But this time, more minimalist, I'd say, in terms of what the song needs, because it's the type of song wherein you just focus on the story and the lyrics, and that's kind of what went on for the Ones We Once Loved.
Mm-hmm. And overall, what is your inspiration like when it does come to writing, or who has inspired you for your musical style?
We have a lot of sources of inspiration. A lot of times it comes from what we experience personally, but then I think also as artists, we've come to understand that inspiration comes from how we see the world, like how we experience things. So it doesn't always have to be your own experience. Sometimes it could be like a story that your friend told you, and you just felt it in a certain way, and then it comes out through a song that only you as the artist can write. So I guess inspiration comes from the way you see the world.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And tell me about the concept with the music video as well.
Paolo can tell you.
Well, so the interesting bit about that video is it actually starring me, hesitantly though, but me and my ex-girlfriend, basically.
The one who once loved.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which was the inspiration
Yeah.
actually for that song. So that's what the video is about. But I mean, prior to the video, we've long had our closure, and we're actually friends. And I mean, I know that doesn't happen to everyone, but I guess given that we were very fortunate to reach that point, it was because she's an artist as well. Her name is Bea Lorenzo, and because she's an artist and I'm an artist and we're artists, we wanted to impart our story artistically, so that people might get something from it. It's like an allegorical version of somehow real life events. Yeah.
Now, I was on your Instagram as well, and someone in the group has a golden retriever, and I love golden retrievers.
Yes.
So I've got to ask you.
Yes, I'm so happy that you mentioned that, because I really love my dog. I actually miss him so much because he's back home.
Oh, I love your dog, and I haven't even met him yet. What's his name?
His name is Ringo, after Ringo Starr, the drummer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because he is a star.
He's a star. Yeah.
He needs his own Instagram page now.
He has his Instagram page. It's Hello Meet Ringo.
Oh,
Yes.
brilliant. Yes, I'm going to follow. I'm going to be his #1 fan.
Do you love golden retrievers?
I do. Yeah, I grew up with golden retrievers.
Okay.
So every time I see a goldie, I'm just like, oh, it's a golden retriever. It's just, they're the most. They have such a happy face, and I just feel like it just looks like love. So.
Are you also stuck on Instagram videos of golden retrievers sometimes, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
It keeps me up sometimes.
It just they're just happiness in a little
Yes.
bundle. How old is your goldie now?
Almost 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
And they're the same no matter where you go in the world. Like
Yeah.
you see a golden retriever and they're like,
They're just
hello.
smiling.
Yes. So after the tour, what's coming up next for you guys with your music?
Well, definitely, we want to be able to reach new people who haven't heard of our music yet. That's why we're here, and that's why we're touring, and we want to collaborate with new artists, and we want to write and record, and basically just be here in this part of the world more often, and yeah, all of that in 2023 and beyond.
And lastly, this question is just for me. When I first discovered your music, the name Ben and Ben, besides the obvious, can you kind of explain the origin of that, you know, and how you guys came to 9 people in a group?
Well, they're twins.
Yes.
They started it all. They picked us up from our separate lives and made us one life. We're a hive mind now.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
I think one of my favorite parts about us being called Ben and Ben but still being 9 is that you find very, very soon on that things aren't always just as they are given to you, or like just how they seem. So you say Ben and Ben, you think, oh, it's 2, but then boom, it's 9. Like, the furthest amount of band members you'd think in a band setting, from 2 to 9. So it's always a great conversation starter, and it's always an opportunity for us to give a little more insight about our story, because it's been quite an interesting one, and we hope that through more of these tours, it becomes a thicker and thicker book of stories we can tell people.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing that. Oh, yes? Did you want to?
No. That's nice.
Yeah.
Nice one.
And
Nice.
I do have to congratulate you on the 1 billion streams. You've made it to the Billionaire Club on Spotify. How did it feel when you found out?
Well, definitely, it's something that really inspires us to keep going and keep sharing like our music to more people. Yeah.
We don't even know 1 billion people.
I don't even know 1 million people.
I can't even count to 1 billion.
Yeah. It just shows how far your music has spread, and I feel like it's just going to get even bigger and bigger. So thank you so much for dropping by the studio, and I
Thank
wish
you for having us. Thank you.
Aw,
Thank you for
thank
having
you.
us.
I wish you all the best, and I can't wait to see where your journey takes you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And I'll follow Ringo.
Yes.
Yeah.
He'll follow you too.
Yeah.
Hi, we're Ben and Ben, and you've just been buzzed.
Ben and Ben just finished up their tour, but be sure to check out their music on all streaming platforms. Don't go anywhere. We have Ari Hicks up next in our Artist Spotlight, but before that, we're going to count down the top 5 scariest music videos of all time.
When I'm in the shower, I'm afraid to wash my hair, 'cause I might open my eyes and find someone standing there. People say I'm crazy, just a little touched, but maybe showers remind me of psycho humor. That's why I always feel like somebody's watching me. And I have no and I don't want you, and I don't need you. The world that you resist, I won't beat you. It's not your fault that you're always wrong. The weak ones are better just to fall strong. Bring the pressure. Come play my game, I'll test ya. Psychosomatic
Self-proclaimed spooky popstress Ari Hicks stopped by to tell us about her EPs It's Not That Deep Volume 1 and 2, and explains to us why her dark pop sound goes a step beyond. Let's take a look.
Hey everyone, my name's Ari Hicks, dark pop princess and spooky queen, and it is so nice to be here today.
Heat underneath everything, burning up my blood. Still had to breathe, feel the grief covering my lungs. If I'm a fool, then at least I'll be a good one. Glitter in the streets, all over me, on my tongue.
So this one's fun because it's definitely meant to be more literal. I was writing a lot of these songs when I was creating them, and music typically comes from a very hyper-personal place. And you know, when I first started releasing music, that's definitely where I pulled from. I kind of got out everything what I really wanted to say growing up, as a teenager, as a young adult. And then once I got all of that out and the music and the writing process kind of caught up with me in real time, I was like, crap, what do I write about? You know, I've been in the pandemic for 2 years, not much has really happened for me to pull from. Obviously, a lot happens during the pandemic, but I wanted to write about other stuff, and part of who I am as a person is I love storytelling and I love stories, movies, television, the worlds that immerse you in different things. And for this album, it was cool because I started pulling from more of a story-based area of things that are still personal to me, but maybe not hyper-personal situations, not like an ex per se, but I can still draw on a situation from an ex and kind of take it and make it into a cooler story. So when I was explaining what these songs were and the meaning behind them, I kept literally found myself saying, it's not really that deep though, like it's not that serious, it's not that, you know, intricate in terms of how much it came from a personal place. And it took me a second to get on board with that because I thought that was wrong for the longest time, but I think I also didn't realize that that still was a very personal side to me because I do love stories and I love creating, and I love being able to put that into my music now, which is what this album is.
Psychos, no one ever gets too close to me. Dying on the inside, but you seem to see right through. Smiling, but I'm blue. I'm a psycho, maybe that's the reason they all leave. Is it only in my mind, or am I stuck inside this room? Haunted without you, I'm a psycho.
So my next release, I just released my Halloween song called Sad Ghost. And then that is shortly followed by, in mid-November, It's Not That Deep Chapter 2. Which is my personal favorite because it's got all the more, like even more darker and spookier kind of songs on it, sonically and vibe-wise. So those are my favorite songs, I think, that I've created to this day. And then right now I'm here just creating, writing, seeing what comes out, trying some things. I did a song that was like, I never want to limit myself though either. Like I still want to carry that darkness and that spookiness, but like I did a song the other day that was just very dancey, and I was like, I don't know, I kind of fuck with it. Why would I stop it? Because it's not just dark pop. Like it can still be other things, and I want to keep venturing in that and finding a way to even honestly want to challenge myself to find a way to take things like that aren't necessarily so much in the field of what I'm doing, and seeing if I can find a way to like still make it work, still make it my own. Because that's, I think, when you really know that you've got something going as an artist, is when you can take something that isn't supposed to be you, so to speak, especially genre-wise, and still make it you. I think that's so cool. That song is definitely more geared towards Halloween. I guess any of them could be played in like a spooky Halloween manner. But I definitely like to say spooky pop when describing my stuff now. I think that's like a fun way to go about it.
I've got an appetite, specific days get lonely, not trying to start tonight, cause a girl's gotta eat, yeah, I might be out of touch, but I won't take it slowly, don't need to talk too much, get my body to speak. Oh, you think you got me, but you don't, I got you, oh, you're such a sucker if you think
I think a big part of what makes dark pop is not only the subject matter, but the sonics, like sonically what it's sounding like. I think I've started saying, instead of dark pop, I started saying spooky pop. And the most fun is when I'd be like, let me just show you. And I show it and they're like, oh, I get it. So I think I go sonically, at least, based off a vibe. I like things that sound almost like eerie and haunting and kind of like, I don't know, I've tried to describe it to people and it feels like this blanket of like, not darkness as in like a scary heaviness, but like something a little dark and sinister, but that like feels good. It's like empowering and powerful. And I think that's something that's really fun that I've been trying to incorporate into my music. It's like a darkness, but like an empowering one, if that makes sense. When I first started writing music, it was after high school, and I definitely was more in the like straight up pop lane. I think it's really important for any artist starting out to try a bunch of different things to see where you fit. I kind of grew up teaching myself how to sing, and because of that, I could sing a lot of different styles. So then when I got into a room to try and create for myself, it was almost daunting because there was a lot of things I liked singing, but that doesn't mean it's what I wanted to do myself. And I had to like kind of sift through a lot of different things to find it. When I started actually even releasing music, it wasn't this. I kind of did like more of a pop R&B thing, which I still really fuck with. And I'd love to incorporate like a little bit more of, like I love incorporating R&B melodies and stuff. And I'd love to continue doing that. But I did more of like a straight up pop R&B thing for like my first 2 songs. And then I kind of like ventured into a pop rock area a little bit, which was super cool and worked. But I started thinking, when I get up on stage, am I gonna be excited to sing these songs? And the answer I found more and more was coming up no. And I think that's really important to recognize too, and that's totally okay if that's what it is. I wouldn't change any of those songs. They were very much true to me when I did them, but I as a human had to evolve, and my music evolved along with it. And I started kind of going into a bit more of a, or I wanted to, into a darker pop vibe. And I did a Halloween themed EP. And Kiss Me, Kill Me, which I actually got tattooed here because it was the first song of mine to ever reach 1 million streams, and now 2 million, which is absolutely nuts. But it's also like a Halloween themed dark pop song. So clearly people got something from that was like hitting them in the right way. And that means that that's probably what I should be doing. And moreover, that's what I liked doing. So I started trying to venture into more of that like darker, powerful, spookier area. And I love spooky stuff. Like that's one of the fundamentals of who I am. So it just all made sense.
Tragic, flipping your switch like it's magic. Got a degree in dramatic. Baby, you being erratic, pretending you're sorry. Dropping the act in a heartbeat. Second and nobody's watching, but I'm always watching. At the snap of a finger, you're someone else. You got 2 sides, baby, switch.
I've got a show coming up November 8th that I'm doing at the Peppermint Club. I'm playing Breaking Sound at the Peppermint Club, which I'm super excited about. And it's the first time I'll be able to perform all of the songs off of Chapter 2, because they're not out yet. But by then it'll be close enough that I can sneak some of them in there. Hi, my name is Ari Hicks, and you've just been buzzed.
That's all we have. Special thanks to Ari Hicks, Ben and Dylan Ratzlaff. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and double tap us on Instagram, all at buzz_access. Before we go, we're gonna leave you with some more Ari Hicks. I'm Trey Rich. Love and life to you all.
Oh, you think you got me, but you don't. I got you. Oh, you're such a sucker if you think I wanna love you. 'Cause I just wanna go all night. And I don't need your number, I just want you undercover. So baby, come and blow my mind. Such a sucker, such a sucker.
For more stories and extended clips, go to thebuzzallaccess.com. I'm Trey Rich, and you've just been buzzed.